was only a baby when she was left at the steps of a quiet hospital wrapped in a blanket the color of sunrise. No one knew her full story, only that her name was stitched gently onto her blanket. Milla meaning gracious and strong. But strength is hard when you're little, and Milla was passed from home to home. Like a book no one finished reading. In one house, she slept on a couch. In another, she wasn't allowed to speak during dinner. Some homes were loud, some were cold, some were too full. In most, Milla stayed quiet, not because she didn't have words, but because no one stayed long enough to hear them. But there was something. Milla always had animals. In one home, she found a dog named Toby who sat by her every night. In another, a shy gray cat curled up on her lap as she cried into her pillow. Once, she even found a wounded bird and nursed it back to health before it flew away. They didn't ask questions. They didn't get mad. They just stayed for a little while. But just like the people, the animals always left too. Sometimes the family moved. Sometimes the shelter came. Sometimes no one explained. Milla stopped packing her heart. She carried only her small stuffed fox named Brave. Because even if no one stayed, she would stay strong. Until one day, everything changed. A woman named June and her husband Micah met Milla at a foster event. June knelt and said, "I heard you love animals." Milla nodded, then quietly asked, "Do they ever stay?" June smiled. "Only if they find the right heart to live in." They invited Milla to visit their farm, not a grand one, but quiet and green. There were goats, chickens, a three-legged dog named Lucky, and a horse who let Milla braid his mane. But what shocked Milla the most? A room, her own room, not a borrowed bed, not a suitcase in the hallway. A room with stars on the ceiling and Brave sitting on the pillow. The first night, Milla didn't cry. She whispered, "Please don't go." But no one left. Months passed. No yelling and no hiding. Just stories, warm food, and quiet hugs. June and Micah weren't perfect, but they listened and they stayed. One morning, they sat Milla down and handed her a folder. Inside, a certificate with her name in gold. Milla Rose, our forever girl. Milla still missed the pets she once loved. She still had hard days, but now she had a home, not just with a roof, but with love. And when people asked, "Who saved you?" she'd smile and say, "No one saved me. I just kept going until love caught up." The end.